My name is Sarah Mitchell, and I'm here to share a real-life experience that I still struggle to comprehend. This happened to me 2 years ago during a business trip to New Orleans. I had booked a room in an old historic hotel known for its charm and character. Little did I know I would encounter something that defies explanation. I arrived late in the afternoon, checked in, and was immediately captivated by the hotel's vintage decor and eerie ambience. The receptionist handed me my key and mentioned something about the hotel's long history and ghost stories. I laughed it off, thinking it was just part of the hotel's charm. My room was on the 3rd floor, at the end of a long, dimly lit hallway. As soon as I entered, I felt a slight chill. The room was quaint, furnished with antique pieces, and had a large window that overlooked the bustling street below. After unpacking, I decided to explore the city and grab some dinner. I returned to the hotel around 10 p.m., exhausted and ready for bed. The hallway seemed even darker and quieter than before. As I walked to my room, I had the strange sensation of being watched. I shook it off, attributing it to my fatigue. Once inside, I locked the door, changed into my pajamas, and got into bed. Despite my exhaustion, I found it hard to sleep. There was an unusual heaviness in the air. As I lay there, I started to hear faint sounds, soft footsteps, distant whispers. My rational mind tried to dismiss them as noises from other guests or the old building settling. Around midnight, the temperature in the room dropped noticeably. I wrapped myself tighter in the blankets, but the chill seemed to seep into my bones. Suddenly, I heard a distinct, slow knock on my door. My heart pounded as I lay frozen, listening. The knock came again, this time louder and more insistent. Gathering my courage, I got up and approached the door. "Who is it?" I called out, trying to keep my voice steady. There was no response, just silence. I peeked through the peephole but saw nothing. Cautiously, I opened the door a crack and looked out into the empty hallway. No one was there. I quickly shut the door and locked it, my mind racing. I returned to bed, hoping to sleep off the unease. I had just started to drift off when I felt a pressure on the bed, as if someone had sat down beside me. My eyes shot open, but I saw nothing. The room felt oppressive, the air thick with an unseen presence. I sat up, my heart pounding, and scanned the room. That's when I saw her. A translucent figure of a woman standing near the window, dressed in what looked like a Victorian era gown. Her face was pale, and her eyes seemed to look right through me. She stared at me for what felt like an eternity, her expression sorrowful. Fear paralyzed me. I wanted to scream, to run, but I couldn't move. The ghostly figure raised her hand, pointing towards the door. "Leave," she whispered, her voice echoing in the room. As soon as she spoke, the oppressive feeling lifted slightly. I didn't need any more convincing. I grabbed my bag and fled the room, not caring about my appearance or the hour. I ran down the stairs and straight to the front desk, where the night clerk looked startled by my disheveled state. I demanded a different room, one far away from the 3rd floor. The clerk, without questioning, handed me a new key and apologized. I spent the rest of the night in a brightly lit room on the 1st floor, unable to sleep but feeling somewhat safer. The next morning I checked out early. As I was leaving, an elderly woman at the front desk approached me. She had a kind face and seemed to understand my unspoken fear. "You saw her, didn't you?" she asked softly. I nodded, still shaken. She explained that the ghost I had seen was believed to be a former resident who had died tragically in the hotel many years ago. Guests occasionally reported seeing her, especially on the 3rd floor. The hotel staff tried to downplay the stories, but the sightings persisted. I left New Orleans with an experience that I will never forget. To this day, I can still see her sorrowful eyes and hear her whisper telling me to leave. I've never stayed in a historic hotel since, and I probably never will. If you ever find yourself in an old, charming hotel, be aware of its history. Sometimes the past lingers more than we know.